This game is not just one of the best damn games that I've played on the PS4, but easily one of the best games I've played in recent history. Let's hit them streets. Welcome everybody to the channel. It's your boy Jose, aka TheNYCGeek, aka TNG, aka the guy who is finally playing this game after a year. They just released the director's cut for this game, which is adding a slew of things, especially for the PS5 version, like the haptic feedback and all that. But it's mainly going to be an expansion where they're adding a neighboring island, the island of Iki. But I wanted to talk about this game. I know it's been a year, but there's been some recent interest because, like I said, the director's cut has come out, and because I myself have finally gotten a chance to play this game. So I wanted to talk about it and why I'm gushing over it and why I think it's a fucking masterpiece. Okay? This game was honestly, I'll fucking say it clearly, it was honestly robbed back by all these video game award ceremonies back in 2020. We're just too busy fucking circle jerking themselves into thinking that somehow, I don't know what fucking game they play, but that Last of Us 2 was even in the same field of storytelling as Ghost of Tsushima was. And I'm going to tell you something now. It's not even in the same planet, not even the same fucking solar system. Last of Us 2 is not even fucking close. Shouldn't even be in the discussion in terms of storytelling when you talk about Ghost of Tsushima. So I don't want to go too crazy into that rant. That's for another video. But I wanted to gush and just really talk about this fucking game. So you start off, you're playing as Jin Sakai. You're a samurai who's trying to protect your island, the island of Tsushima, during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. You're starting with one of the best sequences in a video game that I've played. I think the last real one, the last like real kick-ass intro moment that and I'm sure there might have been others. It's just the last one that's really coming to mind that I've played was that got your blood pumping immediately was God of War 3, where start the game on the back of a Titan and you're fighting immediately against Poseidon and the forces of Olympus. Like, this game puts you right in the battlefield as you're like doing a final ditch effort, this final cavalry charge by the samurai forces to push back the Mongols from the shores of Tsushima. And you quickly learn that the ways that you've grown up with, that you've been taught, your conduct of honor, it's not enough to fight the Mongols. It's not enough to repel them, or really defeat them. They're just too strong, too numerous, and they fight in an unconventional manner. And your character has to start fighting in that same way. Jin Sakai has to start abandoning the path of the samurai, or at least not following it so strictly, and he starts going around, sneaking around, killing enemies from stealth. And this not only comes into conflict with your character's own code of honor, your own way of the warrior, your own code of Bushido, don't reference it as that, but those around you, your family, your friends, villagers who see you, they may not respect what you're becoming. But it's wholly an ends justify the means, and it's told so damn well. The story is fantastic. The plot, the pacing, the dialogue, the voice acting, which I highly recommend playing it with its native language of Japanese with English subtitles. I know some people hate fucking reading English subtitles, but I don't give a fuck, because you're missing out on just like a level of authenticity, I want to say, if that makes sense. And if you're into anime at all, Jin Sakai, the main character, is voiced by the legendary Kazuya Nakai, who is the voice of Zoro from One Piece, which, if you know anything about me, I think One Piece is the greatest anime of all time. That's why Luffy gets, such a high place there. I think One Piece is fantastic, and just hearing his voice, like when I was playing it, I immediately put, I'm like, yo, is this Zoro? Is this Zoro? But I digress. I don't want to go too deep into the story because I don't want to spoil anything, but it just hits all those notes superbly. It sets it above the rest. This game could be a movie, and you have to praise that voice acting. And I've seen other people, I hop into some other streams and I've seen people play, in English, and you can hear the just caliber of voice acting there as well. So, I prefer the Japanese, and I think that it's better for this game because of its setting. But the English voice acting is chef's kisses as well. You can feel the loss, the grief, that the characters are feeling, that anger, the confusion as to this change in warfare. It's all there. This story's a fucking masterpiece. And now I've gone into the story a little bit. I want to touch on the gameplay, because obviously you can have an awesome story in a game, but at the end of the day, you're still playing a video game. And you need the gameplay to be important, because that's how you're going to experience that story. That's how the viewer's going to experience it. Unless you're taking your controller and just, doing this and just, okay, well, I press X and then I'm setting it down. At that point, you're watching a movie. No. The gameplay is core to this. And I got it. And it just, Ghost of Tsushima just doesn't drop it. It doesn't drop the ball. It takes the fucking ball, brings it to the end zone, spikes it, as it's bouncing in midair, grabs the ball again and fucking spikes it again, because it's so well done. It's not, the gameplay isn't just done incredibly. It's not just that. This game sets itself as the bar for how I will judge other open world games in the future. I will judge them against Ghost of Tsushima. You have a lot of the beats that most open world games have, like side missions and finding collectibles, all that jazz. But it's done so organically. Like, it's not like you climbing up a tower and you unlock all these nodes. Like, it's not like that. They try to keep the HUD especially minimal. There's no mini map breaking your immersion. Like, you could be exploring on horseback, running around the island of Tsushima, and one of the birds might come by, and it's like trying to get you to follow it, and you follow it, and that's how you find other different activities, like hot springs that'll raise your health, or bamboo stands that you cut down to increase your resolve, which powers your abilities in battle. Even going from one point to another, what you do is you like swipe up on your PS4 touchpad, and this wind comes in, and it just shows you, like, it's just like gently steering you in the direction that you need to go in. Just so well done. So well done. And you're going to hear me say that a lot in this review, because it's the truth. It's fucking fantastic. It's top notch. The side quests are introduced in a compelling manner. It just goes along with the main story. It never feels like you're doing the main story and then it's like, oh, I'm taking a side quest that the tracks or it's like, huh? Like, no, it doesn't feel like that. They all complement together. It's like reading a book, and all these chapters just flow right into the next, right into the next. You never feel thrown out of the main story. I never feel like I'm gathering collectible part 1 of series 3 and part 30 of the 50 leaves of the no. Everything feels tied together. And this will help you evolve your character. You're going to learn new techniques. They complement your abilities, your items, your style of play, which this game finds an incredible balance between stealth and just combat. You can approach so many missions how you want. You can, like, whether you go into a Mongol camp and you start challenging the invaders, Like up front, you just call them out for a showdown, and they just send some of their best warriors to fight you, and then you got to clear the rest of the camp out in combat. Or you can just sneak around in the tall grass, use wind chimes to distract enemies, and just start killing them off one by one without setting off the alarm. Like, the gameplay is polished to a T, which brings me to a huge part of this game. And just another satisfying aspect of it is the combat. The combat is so visceral, so satisfying. When you press a button, you press square or triangle, and you deliver a blow, like, you get that feedback. You get that feel of like, man, every sword blow, every kunai toss, everything just feels like so responsive is the best way to say it. It's just, and that's for how it feels just playing it, right? I haven't, like, it's the combat is so energetic because, you know, you could be fighting like you're defending a lighthouse, and there's, you know, 3 people rushing up from this side, and then you're parrying their blows, and a spearman is trying to attack you from behind with a thrust while you're dodging an archer's volley of arrows. You are just, it's frenetic. It's you know, there's duels where you're fighting one-on-one, but to me, my favorite part of this game is when I'm in those crazy fights that really gets your heart racing. And, you know, you have different styles available to you where, depending on the type of foe you face, so you might take your water stance to break a shield bearer's posture more easily, or you might take your stone stance, which will help you deliver more staggering blows against swordsmen. It's just, you have items like kunais, smoke bombs, a longbow, different tools of assassination. It's robust. It's well fleshed out. It's so key that it was so important for them to nail the combat in this game, because conflict is the core driving force of this game, of the narrative. Jin versus the invading Mongol forces, and they do it. They capture it so fucking well. You know, the world itself, the graphics are so vivid, so rich. You know, I've had the pleasure of going to Japan a few times in my life, and I always talk to people, and I tell them one of the things that the first time I went to Tokyo that struck me was, you go into this massive metropolis. You're going into it's Tokyo. It's so modern. You know, you got people with phones, fucking cars, bullet trains. You got fucking Gundams, all that. And then you step into some place like the Meiji Shrine, and it's like all of that melts away. Like, you feel like you stepped into the past, and this game does that. Visually, you truly feel like you've been transported to a feudal era. The colors, the landscapes. I can't tell you how many times on stream I'll tell the chat, I'll be like, hold up, guys, it's Vista time. And I just start panning the camera slowly to soak it all in. And not since Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, have I seen a game that I feel really has caught that aesthetic of feudal Japan so well. It feels like a period drama, like one of those period drama shows that they put in over there. Just, and you can't, and the thing is, you can't just do that transportation feeling like that. You can't just do it visually. You have to engage all the senses. And so you have all this gorgeous scenery, and then take that and add to it the music and sound that helps set up those scenes perfectly. I'm serious. Like, the composer didn't just say like, give me a fucking shamisen and a flute. Yeah, give me those two, and we'll put someone singing. Get me an enka singer, and we're good. No. They do the research that was done to make sure the instruments used were appropriate. You know, I dare you to put on some of the tracks of this game. Close your eyes and tell me you cannot imagine yourself flying back to the early era of the samurai. This is I'm gonna say it again. It's fucking incredible. Fucking incredible. There is a level of polish in this game that I have not seen in a lot of titles, especially a lot of fucking AAA titles. You know, they AAA my ass. Not with this. With this, the fact that Sucker Punch went to the island of Tsushima to gather leaves so that they could make the weeds in the game more authentic. You know, the fact that this game is the only third video game developed in the West to receive a perfect score from the popular Japanese video game magazine Famitsu, that just tells you in volumes how incredible this title is. It's not just a video game, it's a fucking experience. And you owe it to yourself to play this game. Whether you play it on easy mode because you just want to experience a story, that, you know, that's fine. That's okay. You know, I've told people before, with certain storytelling games like this, it's fine for them to put an easy mode so that players can just, if you just want to sit back and relax and enjoy the game, you can do that because it's an experience. Or if you play like me on lethal, like an ass, and get, you know, just to drink in the suffering, you know, that brutal difficulty, it's not gonna fail you. It doesn't fail you. And man, can I tell you, I've died a million times on lethal. It is 2 sword strikes and I'm done. Sometimes on some of the duels, I get slashed once, I'm dead. But it's just, I'm like, I want more. I want more. And that's what this game does. I didn't even touch on the multiplayer aspect of it, which is just another extra layer on it. Admittedly, I haven't done much on that multiplayer mode. It's like it's more like a PvE aspect. There's some raids, or you're doing like a story. There's different chapters that you do duels with, or you do a survival mode that's like a horde mode. You know, that it's just an extra layer on top of it. It doesn't detract in any way. It's just, you get a fucking incredible single player experience, and then on top of that, you get a fun multiplayer experience. Like, oh shit, I get both, and for $60, that's it, dude. This game is worth every fucking dollar. You get every dollar's worth and then some. And that, to me, that's how I rate games. I rate games on all these things that I've said, and also a core thing of, am I getting my money's worth? And you get it. This game is, for me, a perfect 10 out of 10. Okay, this is not just a fucking unincredible video game. It will be what I compare other titles to in the open world genre to. It's the bar now. It is the bar. You know, it's going to be one of those few games that I bother to platinum. And I normally I don't care about that. I normally don't platinum games. I don't care about achievements, but it just wraps you in so well that you don't care. You don't want to leave. You want to stay in this world. You know, so do yourself a favor. Go out there, experience this game. Not play it. You're not just playing it. You're experiencing it. This has been the NYC Geek. If you enjoyed the review, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You hated it, hit the dislike button. Or if you disagree, make sure to leave me a comment. I will be responding to it. And I'll see you guys all next time. Take care of yourselves and stay safe.